What's up? Welcome to Cordev's Call 40. Thank you for joining. I think the most important people to be here are here. I think this will be a pretty quick call today. I think the biggest thing is V6 um, because we have that live on Arabica. It's also live on Mocha. And we have some patches going to Arabica today uh, with the expectation that Mocha is released tomorrow. Um, this should mean that the mainnet schedule stays roughly the same compared to what we have on the status page. What's up, Evan? But this is the point where I want to ask, kind of how this timeline is changing.
I think this timeline, as of like the very recent discussions, as of like this morning, I think we might. I don't think it's like fully decided yet, but I think we might hold off on mainnet until we have a very high SLA for sequential submission of transactions. So whenever that's through, then we will start deploying. I know it is should have addressed this regression earlier, like a lot earlier, but we have like a pretty good implementation in place, and so far it's very promising in that it fixes the SLA problem with CAT, and you can submit sequentially. So then the goal being here that ideally we never regress on mainnet, even if it's like very temporary, and that means that because mainnet users currently can submit sequentially, you don't have to wait for a transaction to be confirmed, and it will still have a reasonably high SLA, not 99%, but it'll have a reasonably high SLA to get included. We want to add that to V6 as well.
Sweet. I want to back it up just a little bit for people in case they're watching after the fact or just aren't as deep into the code as us. So I guess to just like summarize the problem right now on Mocha and Arabica is there's some issue with sequential blob submission, correct? And we want to make sure we don't break that on mainnet. So that's the reason for the delay, basically.
Correct.
And I guess I did want to just like Evan and I had talked about it like in a call, but I was chatting with Diego before we started this. It sounds like the solutions team and integrations and like roll up as a service providers haven't really had issues with this, specifically related to the delay that I had problems with, which I thought was like a big UX change. So that's like really refreshing to know that that's not causing problems for Diego or integration teams, basically. But I think the thing that's really important is the sequential submission. So yeah, I guess that's live on Arabica now, correct? As of this morning?
No, the sequential submission is not live on anything.
That's parallel transaction submission is live. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like we'll have a. Yep.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it sounds like we'll have another update on Arabica where we test out sequential submission, one of the prototypes.
Correct. Cool. I don't know if we have timelines on that yet, but
all good.
Yeah, that's definitely the goal.
Cool. Okay. Thank you for chiming in and talking about that. I guess
we should also we can still talk about the timing thing if you want.
I guess it might be good to just explain what changed. Yeah, so I guess like to summarize, in the past I'm pretty used to blobs being included very quickly on mainnet, where like or Mocha or Arabica, where it takes about 4 seconds to have it return the confirmation to you. And last week I was testing out and found it took about 10 to 12 seconds, pretty much on average like 10 seconds to have a receipt from my blob, which means I could basically only get a blob in every other third block or every other block. So Evan has fixed this or has prototypes to fix this. But I guess I think it's important to explain why the delay is something that's unavoidable. As much as I want it to be 4 seconds, unfortunately, the delay has a real like engineering purpose, and I want Evan now to explain that.
Yeah, so we don't actually have a fix for the delay, but the
Oh,
delay,
that's
yeah,
what I meant.
we have a
Yeah,
fix for sequential submission.
yeah.
Yeah. The delay here is caused by normally Comet BFT by default will commit to a block as soon as possible. And if you commit to a block, then that means that you are able to update your indexes, and then you get this really fast confirmation. Now on mainnet, the blocks are 8 megabytes or less, which is very fast to distribute and to commit to. It's so fast that you don't actually need a mechanism. Like the difference between an empty block and a full block is like not that noticeable. It's measurable. It's not that noticeable. So because of that, for 128 megabyte block, that is not the case. You need the full 6 seconds. So you have to have some mechanism that makes an empty block and a full block take the same amount of time. CompBFT does not have this. It always moves as fast as possible. So what we did here is we wait to commit the block. This is just sounds like a relatively simple feature where you can just change some of the timings in the consensus reactor and it should be fine. But we've encountered a lot of problems with this, so we landed on like a simple, kind of arguably elegant solution that where you just wait to commit the block. Now, the problem with waiting to commit or waiting to vote, even though you're ready to commit, is of course you don't update your indexes. So now where a transaction was taking 4 to 5 seconds to get included, now it takes an additional 4 seconds. Even more than that, because we're using a pool-based mempool, where the pool-based mempool takes longer to distribute the same blob. It just does so at a dramatically more efficient rate, like 40x times more efficient, right? So you gain a lot of efficiency, but you have to sacrifice a small amount of time. So because of that, and because of this commit thing combined, you see that like on average, we're seeing 11 seconds, 10 to 11 seconds is the average, plus sometimes you see 12, sometimes you see a little bit over that. And that's a big chunk of that time is due to this commit. Some of this time is due to using a pull-based mempool instead of push-based, like what we have on mainnet right now. So it's definitely a difference. And it does meet our still requirement of like, if I want a very high SLA for getting a transaction included in the next block, assuming the block is not full, you can still do that. It just might not seem like it because it's taking so damn long relative to what occurs on mainnet right now. Because we're just waiting to commit to the block, right? So in the future, this is still like a nice optimization that we might be able to change in something like B7 or whatever. The problem with changing it now is like again, like the timing mechanisms are really tricky. So all of our testing for performance work, etc., has been using this delayed mechanism. So we have like 20 megabytes a second working using this delayed mechanism. I don't think it's wise to switch at this moment, given that it's such like a tricky thing. And but in the future we definitely can. And then now we have this optimization where, well, if the block's not 128 megabytes, you can commit it extremely quickly and then give that confirmation to the user quick, and it feels nice. Now the downside is that it's only an optimization for small blocks. You still need the full time for a full block. So given the network is full, then you will see the slow delays come in again. Unfortunately, there's no way around that. However, I guess that's a different thing. Like if that's something that we want, we can move forward with like maybe decreasing block times or doing whatever. But that's like a whole separate thing. Anyway, I'll stop ranting. But hopefully that explains why we have these longer block times. We're still getting blocks included within 2 blocks, which is the minimum. That's the important thing. And it is also a relief to hear that not too many people have had problems with it. And I hope that we have, with the new mempool, this extremely high SLA for you submit and sign a transaction, and it gets included at like 99 point some number after that, as high as number as we can possibly get. So anyway.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, I guess from here, if you are testing on Mocha or Arabica and you notice some sort of issue, related to the delay, please make an issue on GitHub. Thinking ahead to CIPs. Last week, the only update since last meeting was moving CIP 42 to final. That's done. So yeah, V6 CIPs for Matcha is finalized. We really don't have anything else though. I would like to see if anyone in here from one of the working groups has some sort of update or anything you're working on you have an update on. Now would be a great time to share. We'll assume no one has anything, and we can go ahead and do this again in 2 weeks at the same time on the 28th of October. And yeah, in the meantime, see you in the internet and GitHub. Have a good one, everyone.
Hope.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Stop this.
Thank you. See ya.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bye.